Good morning and welcome to Monday, everyone. I have just graded your poetry submissions. And hey, it looked like you guys kind of enjoyed the poetry unit. I hope you did. But just reading some of the great responses that you had in the poems that you read, I kind of got the feeling that you liked it just a little bit. So I'm so glad. So now it's time to unpack the contents for the month of May. So let's just look at that calendar together. Okay, so you can see we've now completed the poetry module that was required. Now we're coming up on some fun. We're going to have some fun in the month of May. You will be studying the documentary film. We'll go over those modules in just a second. The documentary film, submit here. The narrative film that you're going to be watching, a short, doesn't matter how long the narrative film is. I wanted the economy of time, but you can choose any documentary you want, any narrative you want on any subject. Now do remember though, as you're doing these more relaxed, they take some time to watch and take notes and then write down what you saw. We'll go over that in a second. But remember, this hero archetype essay is coming up on the 20th. And it may seem a million miles away, but it's a very complicated and a high point essay. And it's going to require editing, and maybe some of you might want to visit the Writing Center and some of the tutoring free options that are available to make sure that hero archetype essay is exactly what you want it to be. There are a lot of requirements for that. We'll look over that too. But doesn't that look like a fun month? And then, of course, your final narrative creative writing project is due the end of the month. And I have just completed one course at a different campus, and they did these same assignments. And oh my goodness, these narratives are something else. And yours are too. So I'm looking forward to all that. But this is a nice month. The month of May, I think I have it set up to be a nice month with some film study, which is totally relevant, and your hero archetype essay. And then, of course, at the very end of the month, you have this. So let's go over and take a look at those real quick together. I'm over here in the discussion boards to start with. I have never seen a group of students more close to each other in giving feedback and comments and suggestions. I've never seen anything like it. I was telling one of my colleagues, I have the nicest group of students, and they are involved in talking with each other in discussing your final exam, which is that creative project that's due June 1st. My goodness, we already have 256 posts in there. That's record breaking. I'm telling you, most classes are happy if they get 20 posts in a discussion board. And I had to print this out and show it to somebody. You're fabulous. So now we know that the open forum is open all semester, and that's a good place to go in if you want to have a chat with somebody and talk about what you're moving forward with or something like that. It's basically an open forum without grades. The discussion board for your final essay is wide open, and I hope that you will continue to go in and find those people you talked with and start up some conversations and use that resource as you go through. Now, since this board has already met the requirements that were necessary for this, do read those requirements and make sure you've done those. But outside of that, you can always meet over here in the course and not get tangled up in response and replies and everything. And you can do that by opening up a little thread in the open forum. That's what it's open for. So you can, if it gets lost and too cluttered in here, you can always go over there. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. And that's the one board that you would be using between now and the end. So let's look at the modules right quick. I hope sometimes you just scroll through here and think, oh my gosh, look at all the work I have done. My goodness, I have done so much work. Now here we are in the film study, and there's a little film analysis page, and this I have out here for you to keep open while you're watching whatever films you're going to be watching. That way, the time you spend watching that film will be credited in the course. And, we're not big sticklers on time spent in the course, but when your grade comes out, if your grade was whatever your grade is, you would want to have your hours that are shown in the course reflect the time you spent in here. So this page is just one to have open. Watch your films, and then when you stop watching your films, click out of that. If it looks like you just clicked it open and we're on there for 34 days, it's not going to work. So, be in integrity with that, and I know you will be. And then the critical analysis of the hero paper, that's coming up. So between watching the films and things, make sure you've read all the study materials that are logically laid out here, as well as a checklist of requirements, and visit with other folks about your hero or whatever you're going through with that. The Writing Center is big help with that. Some of the tutoring facilities through the library, things like that, are all real helpful. And then, of course, use the discussion boards to keep working on this final take-home creative narrative essay. And this is your masterpiece. And so make sure that you take out time to look at all of these different things. Remember, I'm never going to steer you wrong. You know that if there's some information in that module, it's important, or I wouldn't put it in there. I hate busy stuff. I hate futzy information that doesn't matter and you just want to scoot past for it, and that's why I have mine trimmed down to everything you absolutely need to know. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Almost every single person included word count and did the name and course information and everything on the right side. It was a pleasure to grade your poetry assignments today. And now I'm going to have to spend some time for myself going back and reading the poems that you read, because I loved them. They sounded so interesting. Anyway, move on, move forward, get on with the film study, and remember the hero and the final, the biggies are coming up. So set out your time calendar, fill in your study time, and have a good time. I'm super proud of all of you. We're having a great time. That concludes this Welcome to Monday tutorial.